Thank you, Marvelous, for that report. Now, joining us on the news is Elvis Akpobi, Executive Director, Not Too Young to Lead Initiative, to discuss more on this. Good morning, Elvis, and thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, now talking about, court reversals and proceedings. Now, what is your take on this and also the developments in Nigeria's off-season elections? How do you think it's going to impact the political landscape and also youth involvement in politics and in governance?
For me, it's quite unfortunate that at the moment we pride ourselves like we're practicing democracy while we're practicing oligarchy and kakistocracy in the sense that it's a government run by a particular few, mostly those with have the money back politics. Let's not forget there's a particular cliche. I don't know if you've heard it that is going around Nigeria. That's always on the mouth of Nigeria politicians saying, "Go to court." For me, democratic processes are processes where people vote, contract governance to people with their votes. If we're practicing democracy, the vote of citizens should count and not people coming into power, coming into leadership through the courts. This is not to say I have lost trust in Nigeria judiciary. We still have a handful of people who who put national interest before their personal interest. But from the way things are going, it seems as if it's money backed into with the judiciary, sorry to say, because wrong precedents are being set. Do you know how it feels as a citizen that you knew that you what a handful of persons voted for, who a handful of persons voted for, did not make it there, and people who see cases like the news you read was talking about, we see cases where people who came out fourth in elections, they are governors today. People who even didn't get they didn't participate in primary elections at the right time. They didn't do the right go through the right procedures. They are in the Senate today. So, what are we teaching the generation behind us? Is this? Let's ask ourselves. In as much as a handful of 1% of the citizens, they are in charge of the wealth of our country today, while almost 99% are just living from hand to mouth. Is this the democracy our forefathers fought for?
All right,
Is it what we are practicing? No, for me,
Elvis.
it's no. But still, we'll keep pushing to make Nigeria better.
All right, Elvis, you seem quite worried and disturbed about, everything going on in governance and also in politics in Nigeria. But can you provide insights into the legal implications and also the potential consequences of the Plateau and Kano gubernatorial election outcomes being challenged in the court system?
Like I said before now, a handful of these judges should know that their actions, their and inactions will serve as a precedent. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what really takes place. But what I will still say is elections are not won in court. Elections are won through the ballots. In as much as they get this benevolence from people, I don't know, it's an allegation though, but they should always put national interest first. For play two, another state, another cases, like I will still reiterate that for me, elections shouldn't be gone through the court processes, but through the votes of the people. And INEC need to sit up. A handful of Nigerians have given up on our electoral processes, not because they cannot vote, but they feel that their vote doesn't count. And I think it's time we need to amend our constitution, mostly that have to do with INEC. For if a president nominates an INEC chairman, invariably he will tilt towards the party he was nominated from. I stand to be corrected, but that's how I feel. It's time we should look at the procedures in appointing an INEC chairman. I was in Liberia the other day, and if we were to be in Nigeria, sorry to say, that election, there won't be a runoff. Someone will be declared a winner. And the citizens, they are confident that their vote counts. In as much as we don't have good economy, there's bleakness in our nation today. The dollar is going higher compared they've devalued the naira. A lot of things are not going well in this country. But at least let's have good electoral processes so that we know that if we took our hands collectively to vote the wrong person, we'll know that we are paying for the consequences of our actions. There will see cases where people who ordinarily were not voted for, today they pride themselves as leaders. This is not the way to go as a
All
nation.
right, Elvis, you did talk about, being worried about our judiciary and, despite, you being disturbed about this same judiciary, talking about the appeal court, has actually affirmed Akpoti and Uduaghan's victory in Kogi senatorial election. Now, you also did say that you believe, in your opinion, that oligarchy and kakistocracy is what is being practiced in in Nigeria today. So we want to know, what are the key takeaways for Nigerian youths interested in politics and government in the light of all of this?
Before I go to Nigeria youth, I want to talk to the Nigeria leaders that they should remember that their actions and inactions will become our burden. And as a next generation, we're already faced with a lot of burden. While there are gullible young people who subscribe to political benevolence, there are people who just want to, young people who just want to eat and have something in their pocket. There are still a handful of Nigeria who believe in the Nigeria dream. For me, I just have one passport, which is the Nigeria passport. I want to urge every young Nigeria that it is possible. Escaping this country will not change this country. We'll make up this country. If the older generation spoil this country for us, it's left for us to bury the ashes, to bury our differences with ethnicity, religion, and all that, and come together, fix this country. We can't have it 100%, not for us, but for the generation behind us. Because should we continue in this trajectory, one day we'll wake up and we won't have a nation to call our own. That's my take.
All right, thank you so much, Elvis Akpobi, for joining me on the news this morning.
Thank you for having me.